Hey guys, it's me, Liv. I hope everyone's good out there. Today I'm going to be using these napkins, some Mod Podge, and I'm going to be using some freezer paper, just a Reynolds wrapped plain old freezer paper, to create my own faux rice paper. I saw this tutorial originally over at Sharon's page. I will put a link to it below. She actually used just like some watered down white glue. She did mention you can use Mod Podge, and I happen to have some available, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. So first off, you do want to take the napkins, and you actually want to take them apart. Most napkins have 2 to 3 layers, so you want to take all of that. This particular napkin that I got over at Spectrum Art Creations, it has 2 layers. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it apart. Next, you want the shiny side up of the freezer paper, and you want to make sure that you put the Mod Podge glue, or if you're using a watered down white glue, onto your surface. Go ahead and put it all over where your napkin will be placed. I have also seen a couple of different videos that they've done it with tissue paper and cheesecloth. So go ahead and just, go wild and try to see what else you can come out with it. It's supposed to be a very light layer, so that is why you see me kind of going over it twice here, and then trying to make sure I get it all covered. Then you're going to go ahead and take your napkin out. You want to keep it as straight as you possibly can for initially putting it down. Napkins are going to be very fragile. This is going to be the same if you use tissue paper or anything else. It is very easy to tear it, so do be careful. Personally, I'm a little heavy-handed, so I do get a couple of tears at the end of my project, but that's okay. I really thought that the inside of this napkin was also super cool because, as you can see, it makes a really light texture, like a light almost vintage look of the sunflowers here. Now, if it does bubble up too much for you, you can go ahead and pick it up and put it back down like you saw me do. Or you could just try to tap it out a little bit. I actually like crinkles in my paper, so I'm not going to mind that it's going to have crinkles when it's all said and done. So consider that when you're actually doing your project too. So now that your napkins are down, you're just going to go ahead and go over it with your glue. You do need to be gentle. Like I said, do not have a heavy hand like I do, so you don't end up tearing your papers too much. You want to put a light layer all over the top part of your napkins from the beginning to the end. As you can see, I'm just trying to do some light strokes over here on it. And then once you have the napkin all covered up, it's going to be really just left over to the side so that you can let it dry. I've found it does take almost a full day for this to dry. Now that I have gone ahead and got all that glue down, I want to show you something really quick just to make it a lot easier to pick up. I'm actually creating almost like a torn edge look, and this, because of the way that the freezer paper is and you're using the shiny side, it's not going to stick so much, but it's also going to be a lot easier to initially pick up when you're trying to get it ripped off of the freezer paper when you're done. So I do that to all my edges so that I can easily be able to lift it up. So now I'm going to go ahead and put this page over to the side, and I'm going to bring out one other napkin that I had showed you on the initial one. And again, the same exact thing that you saw me do in the beginning. Just go ahead and take the different plies off. In some of the other videos that I've seen, I have seen people actually go ahead and do the same exact technique with the white part as well, which could be really cool if you want to create kind of your own textured rice papers. You can either do that before or after. You can put all the different graphics on it and then go ahead and do this technique, or harden it and then try to do it. So again, you see I'm going to pour it all out, get that shape down, make sure it's all nicely spread out, again using the shiny side. Once that thin layer is down, we're going to go ahead and get that napkin down. Now this napkin that I'm using is a little bit longer and wider as one single sheet. So one of the things that I did is initially just start with the top end and then go ahead and spread out the rest of it. Now, for some people who don't love those lines to be there, you can either just press them down like you just saw me do. I know some people who are really meticulous about wrinkles and they can iron them out. Again, I am mostly, at the end of the day, a mixed media artist. So wrinkles, lines, imperfections kind of add to the whole scheme of it. So to me, not a big deal. So go ahead and get that glue on and get it started. So you can do it straight across. I know people who do sections. Just remember, because you are dealing with it, again, I'm not going to say this as many times as I can, just to make sure we're all aware it needs to be a delicate hand. And again, you can push in those sides. Not a mandatory requirement if you don't like this. Just know that it might make it a little bit harder to pick up. And because I actually don't mind it, it's nice and easy. Now, 24 hours later, I am back. And you see how when I crinkled up those edges, just how easy it seems to be for me to pick it up. So I am going to just take one piece at a time. Now, if you are not careful, you might actually have a tear, which is something that I have in here. I don't know if you can really see it so well based on my camera view. But I'm going to try to pick it up from two sides. Now, it will stick a little bit here and there, so just be gentle. But there it is. There's my tear. I think you can see it on that point. But look how see-through this paper is. How cool is that? It is so nice and crinkly. I'm going to be doing the same exact thing for this one. Want to show you kind of how it comes out. And I actually really, really love this one because it's such a subtle print. And I think it'll be great when I make some type of mixed media project with it. Again, careful with your corners. That's really probably where you're going to get it most. Any type of ripping and tearing when you pick it up. But the freezer paper really does make it super easy. So, oops, I ended up tearing that, but that's okay. And one of the things is the freezer paper is now intact for you to use for a whole nother project. And then here is that other one that I had done earlier. Again, just doing those edges makes it come up so easily. It creates this see-through type of effect and this fantastic gloss. So one side is definitely super glossy. The other side is kind of matte. So I just love how these papers came out. Something for you to do. Now here I accidentally realized I didn't put enough glue, but that's okay. I'll figure out something when I work with it. And then here is the other one. So I hope you guys give this a try. Again, it works with lots of different mediums. Napkins, tissue paper, cheesecloth. I have no idea what else. Give it a shot. See what you come up with. And it has to be just a very thin material. And it gets so nicely hardened when you put this glue over it. Makes it very, very cool to work with. And I just want to see if you can see the thickness there that it creates. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will speak to you soon.